What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Screen Team episode number 5. I'm Gus,
I'm Alex.
And I'm Sal.
and we are the Screen Team. Today, we're going to be talking about The Godfather, which is directed by, I forgot already,
Francis Coppola.
Francis Coppola.
Francis Coppola.
And then The Irishman, which is directed by Martin Scorsese. So we'll go ahead and start with The Godfather. What do you guys think of it?
Godfather first.
Had you guys seen it before? This week?
I have seen half of it before.
Yeah.
I've seen 40 minutes of it like years ago,
I got about an hour in.
and then I just stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
me too.
I've seen a lot of this movie like throughout the years, but I
Mhm.
didn't even know it was this movie for most of the time that I would see it
Yeah.
too, like parts of it here and there because
Yeah.
my family like loves this movie. So
Oh, really?
yeah, they have like the box set and
Oh,
everything.
really? Oh, interesting.
So I didn't really even realize like I had seen some of it until I saw it all the way
Mhm.
through.
Okay.
And so I started actually. So one of my assignments for school this year was actually to watch The Godfather and to write about the screenplay for it, and
Oh,
then
so you
finish
saw
it.
Oh, you
didn't
didn't
finish it. I didn't realize how long it was,
Yeah.
and I didn't finish it in time for the assignment.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah. So with that being said, obviously that kind of goes with the fact that it's a really long
It's
movie.
so long.
Both of these
Yeah.
movies
Well,
are
both the movies.
We're
are
talking
really-
about Godfather first,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
they're both long.
Yeah.
They're both
What?
really long, and they both
Yeah.
feel long. It's not like it's not.
yeah.
You know, it's funny because The Godfather has the pacing is really slow, and I thought in the Irishman at least was gonna have like a little bit faster pacing because Scorsese's movies, they're not that slow of a pacing, but no, even the Irishman was like really slow, like it dragged a lot. Both of them kind of drag. They're not. They don't keep me excited throughout the whole movie.
Oh no.
I actually
like,
liked Godfather.
I like The Godfather more. Like we'll start there, which is interesting because I thought I was gonna like the Irishman.
I thought,
Oh,
okay,
better.
coming into this, I thought
Yeah.
definitely thought I was gonna like the Irishman more. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess a big reason because it is a newer movie,
Yeah,
and so
and it's Scorsese.
and I like
I-
Scorsese, but
Yeah, I think, I mean, well, I guess we could just start there with comparing them because I feel like they are really similar in like overall aspects of what the movie is about, like mafia type dealings and
Sure. definitely.
power struggles, stuff like that. So, Godfather, I think, is a better movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that The Irishman has better acting, because these actors are all well established, and they
Yeah.
might not have made a great movie in a while, but I think they also haven't been behind a director like Martin Scorsese in a while, so I think that lends to it a lot. So Godfather is a better movie in my opinion, and I think it's better paced, even though it is really long. I think it has more moments where like it feels like there's impact in the story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like it has
Well,
not an end goal, but
Yeah, there's an actual story to it where
I feel
there's
like
a climax at the end.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they get to something.
before watching these two movies, Godfather was more the movie I thought it was. Like I thought Irishman was gonna be more like Godfather, and
Mhm.
Godfather just ended up like Irishman felt less of a like they're both about the mafia and
yeah.
but I felt Godfather was a lot more about the mafia than Irishman. I felt like Irishman was also about a lot of other things, and it had a lot of other like the ending, like the last hour felt different.
Yeah.
Like there were scenes here and there that felt different.
Yeah.
But all of the Godfather felt like it was about the mob and their family and like
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
it worked.
yeah, it definitely felt like in The Irishman there was so many isolated stories that kind of came together at the end, but not really
Yeah.
either. Like Robert De Niro's character, I guess we'll just talk about both of them at the same time because it's gonna be hard to like
It's
jump
gonna have to-
between
yeah.
like
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
So like in The Irishman, like Robert De Niro's character, he is the middleman essentially, and
Mhm.
he's like the driving force of the story. I feel like he enacts a lot of these like things that bring everything together
Yeah.
towards the end.
He's a hitman.
He's
Yeah.
he's a hitman.
He's a hitman,
right?
Yeah.
He's pretty much a hitman for that works for Joe Pesci, right? Or the
Yeah, Joe Pesci's
Russell.
character and Russell
Russell
and
Mus-
also for Al Pacino's character, Jimmy
Yeah.
Hoffa,
Right.
who I guess.
Is-
So it's funny because they start off the movie kind of saying like no one really knows who Jimmy Hoffa is. Like a lot of young people don't know.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I don't really know too much about him. I've heard the
Same.
name plenty of times, but I don't know exactly what he was. But apparently he was like this union guy, and he kind of committed fraud, and he disappeared out of nowhere, and nobody to this day really knows for sure what happened to him.
Uh-huh.
But apparently this guy, Robert De Niro's character, knew
Yeah.
Mhm.
told the story, but I don't.
Did he tell the story? Who did he tell the story to though? Because he didn't end up telling the CIA at the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So it's like
honestly.
it's still like based on like kind of speculating like
Yeah.
some events, and that's how most movies are that are based on true stories. You kind of have to speculate a little bit.
I mean, it's not a documentary. It's still a movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah. But back to The Godfather. I like the way what it ended up being. Like I had no idea that the main character from The Godfather would say not
Pacino?
that, Al Pacino.
Well,
yeah.
Mikey.
Yeah, I didn't know he was gonna be the main
Michael,
character, and I didn't know he was gonna end up being like the Godfather.
I
thing.
definitely got that vibe.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
I
I thought it was cool.
I was hoping that would happen. I was thinking that, and I was hoping it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like the movie more.
Yeah, if that
If this happened, and
Yeah.
that definitely would.
Because
what ended up
I
happening.
knew, because like I've said, I've seen parts of all these movies like throughout the years because my family liked it. So I knew Michael Corleone was like a really important name as far as the stories go. So I knew that something important with him was going to happen. I didn't know exactly that he was going to be the Godfather
yeah.
by the end of the movie, but I did know that it was like he was going to be like the central
The main
force
guy.
of the
Yeah,
character.
I thought it was cool. You know how
Yeah.
his dad was getting soft, and as soon as he died, like he goes out and he puts a hit on all the family members, all the
family heads.
the big families, that are outside of his family. So
I actually thought that Marlon Brando had more of a role in this movie too.
Me
Like,
too. Yeah.
He got shot like within the first
Yeah.
40 minutes, or I don't know. He got shot and he was like out for a while, so
Mhm.
he wasn't as much. I wouldn't even say he was the main character. Like I think Al Pacino's probably the main character.
Yeah,
But I feel from like posters or
Uh-huh.
just like seeing things from past videos of The Godfather, like you always, in my mind, I always thought he'd be the main character throughout the whole movie. And he'd be a big
Yeah.
presence, but it wasn't really like that.
Yeah, you're right. Like everything revolved around him, but he wasn't the main character. It felt like.
Mhm. But he did have maybe he did have the most impact. Like I mean, we already knew a lot about this movie, and we knew a lot about the character, about his character and Al Pacino from a distance. But I think maybe people who saw it for the first time, like they knew, even though he wasn't the main character, he had like the biggest impact on screen. Because I feel like he definitely did.
Who won awards for this movie?
I'm trying to look
For The
right
Godfather.
now.
I'm pretty sure
Marlon
Marlon
Brando.
Brando won an Oscar for it.
I think he did too.
And I'm curious to see if it was for a leading role or for supporting role. Because
might
if
have
it was
got leading.
because it was leading
there's-
role, it didn't feel like he
I
was.
mean, he was the first
Well, there's
person to
different
talk in the
guidelines for what
film
leading
too.
role means, so-
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Let's see.
I thought it was I thought it was a little weird. My girlfriend actually brought this up.
leading
how
role.
They didn't really put that many timestamps. Like you don't know how. There's a few times where they did
The
one
time
time where
jumps.
it's 6 months. It jumped 6 months, and another time when
A whole year,
when
right?
it was
For
like a whole
Godfather?
year. Yeah, for The Godfather.
They do that same thing in Irishman.
But it wasn't.
But
you don't really know how long it's been. In The Godfather, in The Irishman,
I feel like in The Irishman
They
it was
just
a
look
little
older.
bit
You
more
have to guess.
clear. Yeah,
Yeah.
they look older, but you don't know
Yeah.
how much time has passed. Yeah.
The daughter too was kind of
relevant though. In The
Relevant?
Irishman, there's like 3 different time periods that, like 3 different stories that are taking place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as relevant to know how much time has gone in between the
I
different.
feel like it's more relevant in
Times.
Irishman
It didn't feel
because
like
it jumps between times.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's like when they were younger,
Uh-huh.
when they first met,
And
when
Godfather
when
just-
we're on that road trip, and then when he's like super old. But it doesn't really matter what happens in between then. In The Godfather, there's like a bunch of stuff happening and people are dying, and it's like time is just passing by, but you don't know how much time is passing by, so it feels weird. And then Al Pacino has a bruise on his cheek from getting punched by the cop for
I think that's probably a sign that not much time has passed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, but it's like, okay, I think he's gonna be on there for 6 months. After the 6 months, when he's marrying that girl from Sicily, and he still has the bruise from the cop that punched him like 6 months ago. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. So I guess one thing to bring up real quick as far as like the award stuff. So Marlon Brando did get Best Actor for leading role.
Okay.
Al Pacino was nominated for Best Actor in a supporting role.
That was pretty good.
Supporting role, but he didn't attend the ceremony because he believed that he should have been nominated for Best Lead Actor.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes
Well, he
sense.
probably had more
Because
of a
of perceived screen time and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, but like you guys were saying about the time jumps
Yeah.
and stuff like that, like there was a part where he's talking to his wife, I guess at the time, well, soon to be wife, not the Italian one, but the other one, and she asked him how long he's been back, and he's like a year, and I was like, well, when did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, they said he had to lay low for a while.
yeah.
I think they're gonna get ugly with like the families.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was about like more than 6 months. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
a year wasn't shocking to me.
6 months he spent in Sicily.
And then he was in America
and
for
then
another
he
year.
came back, and then the next time we saw him, it was like, oh, he's been in the U.S. for a year.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, what the hell happened that one year?
What happened that whole year?
Yeah.
He was just
Held on to that grudge, man, till the end.
Yeah.
Till he got control of the whole family. Yeah.
Yeah, and now like I kind of hate how it ended, because now I want to see what happens in Godfather 2, because I know Godfather 2 is supposed to be like better than this one.
And it's supposed to be prequel.
well, actually,
That's
okay.
what
So
Sal was saying is a prequel.
I thought it was a prequel too because I know Robert De Niro plays a younger Marlon Brando.
Vito Corleone. Okay.
Yeah, but I was looking at the casting, and Al Pacino goes in the movie, still comes out in the movie.
Oh.
So I'm assuming it jumps back and forth between
Yeah.
times now.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm thinking.
I would think so too, because I know they had to address of who was the one that betrayed the family, right? At some point.
What do you mean?
They did.
They did.
No, well, the guy that ratted his brother out,
Yeah.
but not the one that like got his dad shot in the first place. That wasn't the same person.
Oh,
They never addressed that?
No, they didn't like.
movie so long, dude. I forgot.
Yeah, honestly.
No, yeah. So
Did they talk about?
I think the
trying to figure
person
that
that betrayed him was Fredo or whatever. But the one that was in Vegas.
Oh.
But they didn't like
They shot
do
him though.
anything about him.
Which
the
one?
brother? The brother
Yeah,
that
the
was
brother.
in Vegas?
The
Oh,
brother
the
was-
brother that was
yeah,
in
They
one
Vegas.
didn't
of
really show until...
yeah, one
they
of the
went to
brothers
Vegas.
betrayed the family.
Yeah.
And told
Oh.
him like this is where he's gonna be at this time. And, like,
How would he even know that he was in Vegas? But whatever.
Huh.
well, he wasn't in the beginning of the movie. I think.
Okay.
Like he was there for like that like meeting before when Vito Corleone was gonna go out
Yeah.
to go meet with these other people, and then he told him then to go to Vegas to go with the actor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's when, yeah. But I don't know. I feel like 2 obviously has to like address that. But I mean, overall, I really liked like how calculated Michael's character was. Like towards the end, like once he like got thrust into like being the Godfather, like
yeah.
he really sees that
He
role,
became
and
the
like he
Godfather,
like
yeah.
he like just knew what to do like
Yeah,
every
that was
step
cool.
of the way. I
Yeah.
felt like
The best part about it being such a long movie is you got to see like him at the beginning of the movie when he was like didn't want anything to do with the family, and he was like good guy, and then he just transforms into like
yeah.
Godfather, like crazy.
I wish they
villain.
would have showed more of like him transforming. Like I
Yeah.
feel like
It
it
was a
was
bit
it was
of-
more of just like the incident where he
Shot
had,
the cop.
yeah, he had to shoot the 2 guys
That
at the
was-
restaurant.
That was my favorite.
That's
scene,
really
by
what
the way.
transformed him
Yeah.
more than like a series of events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was just that,
No,
and then he was
it
in
felt
Italy,
like-
and he was already in Italy. He was already like
Yeah.
he was already that person already.
Yeah. It felt no. I think what it was his dad getting shot. I think that's after like that crossed the line for him. So he started to go bad, and then he started to like dwell on whether or not he's gonna go all in. And then when he finally makes the decision to kill the 2 guys, it was like a slow process. It was like It was like he freaked out.
I
His
guess
dad
before
died,
that, yeah.
and then it was like, oh man, like you can tell he was struggling with like needing, like wanting to like.
I think he was doing it for his dad at first, because when he goes to the hospital to help him protect him.
It didn't feel like right away like he was doing it because he was like naturally like that type of person, but I felt like he kind of realized like, okay, I have to be this type of person in order to like protect my family. Like he didn't want any more damage done to them. But also
but that restaurant scene was really good. When he shoots the two guys in the restaurant was by far my favorite scene.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's rate The Godfather. Right now.
Yeah. So Godfather.
We'll go to Sal first.
What?
We're choking.
Oh man. Okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I mean, it's weird because I know this is a good movie. And I know it's a good movie because people have said it's a good movie, and I've heard it's a good movie, and I know it's won awards, and like people say it's like the best movie ever. But I mean, for me, it wasn't the best movie ever.
Yeah, no.
And so I'm gonna give it, but I still liked it, but it was kind of long.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
Give it a 7.
I can see like why at that time it was probably like one of the best movies ever, but I do think it did age pretty well too. Like it doesn't feel like an old movie minus like obviously some of the special effects like blood and whatnot, but I think it aged pretty gracefully. That being said, it's also not my favorite movie of all time. I want to say I would give this one like 7.75.
7.75.
Yeah, because like I want to give it an 8, but it is too long. Like I can't watch this like. All the time.
I agree with Gus that if I probably saw it when it came out, I can see how people thought this was a really good movie, and I probably would really like it. We would have really liked it, but for today's time, seeing it today and not having ever seen it before, it was okay. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. 7.5, yeah.
All right, and so you also gave it a 7.5, right?
I give it a 7.
7. Okay. All right. So that is our Godfather rating. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about The Irishman. And then we'll go ahead and
I'm just gonna start off by saying that it was just too long.
Yeah.
It was 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Can you even like what's the plot point to this movie?
What's the
end goal? What's the point of this movie?
I think the best way to describe it, like in one sense, is a hitman, like
the life of a hitman.
The life of a hitman, I guess.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Kind of the life of a hitman. How he got into the business and till the end of his life, pretty much, which was Robert De Niro.
I liked all the actors. They all did good, but they all did like comfortable roles. They all did. Yeah. It's not anything new to all these actors. It's all the same thing that they've done in the past. I thought it was weird that they had Robert De Niro like fighting, like the first time he beats up that one dude on the liquor. Like he's so old. Yeah. And when he's tossing guns in the river, he looks so old. Like
yeah, that is pretty funny because that's one of the things with de-aging. Like he obviously looks younger, but like his movements, you can tell he's doing the movements of an older person, a little more stiff and everything. Yeah.
That took me out of it. I was like, man.
I noticed that a couple of times too. Like when he was like jumping from like one of the rocks, like he's just like my bag. But it was too long. Like I literally watched it like earlier today, and I don't remember what time I started it. I had to stop a couple times because I had to go to the restroom, like to pee and stuff, and like I got thirsty. I was hungry. You know, it was like a day. You know, this was an event. It wasn't a movie.
The one thing this one was better at than Godfather was that I feel like it was funnier, or it had funnier moments. There was some moment like some arguments that Al Pacino had with one of the characters. I don't remember, but there was this movie made me laugh in some scenes more than I don't think Godfather ever made me laugh. Was there any funny scenes in Godfather? I don't know. Like there was some humor in this one, and there were some good conversations that I liked also in this one.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it's just too long. Like, it remind me of like when you're younger, when you're a kid and you're just trying to watch cartoons, but like either your dad or some older person just like watching something you don't want to watch.
It just feels super
Like,
long.
oh, can we change the channel? Like, this is for adults. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was a kid watching like a movie that was for adults, and I just didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I really started to notice how much it was dragging. When at one of the last scenes when Robert De Niro is like on his way to do the hit on Jim, on the Al Pacino's character. Man, going from like going to the airport, then they showing the plane, then him getting in the car, then going to the house. It's like, dude, all of that's unnecessary. Like, why are we putting that all in there?
Yeah, there was
10 minutes.
You know, I was thinking the exact
like,
same thing
Jesus.
in the exact same time when he was driving to the house.
Yeah. It was just like, man, this isn't like
You
this is
need to
something
tell
you
this
can
part
cut
of the
out.
story.
Yeah. I don't
Like,
need to see him driving to the house.
There was a lot of times where they would explain what they were gonna do, then they did it, and then they went back and explained what just happened too.
Really?
Like, like for example, like that they told like Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci had a conversation, and when they were eating breakfast, he's like, "You're gonna go do this, you're gonna do that, and you're not gonna meet up with him. You're gonna do this instead."
Yeah.
And then they drive there. He gets on the plane.
Yeah.
He drives past Al Pacino's character on the highway. He meets up with Al Pacino's foster son and the other guy. They drive back, pick him up, drive back to the house, and as he's about to leave the house, he kills him. Like,
yeah. That whole scene, yeah.
And then they have the scene where they get back in the car. He gets back in the car with Joe Pesci's character and drives back to the wedding.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's just like,
Well, actually,
like I liked some of those moments, like because like obviously like it's more of a character-driven film than a plot-driven
I feel
film.
like they're trying to build tension.
I was gonna say, so I feel like
feel the tension.
I understand what was trying to happen. Like,
Yeah.
but they should have had more like struggle with maybe Robert De Niro,
Mm.
like more of a struggle in his character.
Yeah.
That, oh my god, like because so he's killing this guy, but that's his friend pretty much,
Yeah.
right? Like he's about to kill his friend. Like he just got ordered to kill his friend, and I didn't really feel that tension, like or that struggle inside of him. I didn't feel any of that.
I did a little bit because like you could kind of hear it in his voice at times when he was like talking, and like you could kind of see like tears building up and stuff like that. But
we're gonna pause. Ahead of the camera. Oh, yeah, I see your hand. Yeah.
I don't remember what I was saying.
So.
The inner struggle with
Robert De Niro. Like you could see like in his face, like he was obviously struggling with it and everything, but like it didn't seem to bother him as much. Like I feel like he got over it kind of quick. Like they were talking, like there was that scene where he had to call his wife, Jim Hoffa's wife.
Yeah.
And like you could like he seemed sad, but like
yeah, you know what?
and
I
like,
wish that we had that, because when he made that phone call to his wife, that was a really good scene for me. I was like, oh man, okay, this shows that he really, really did care for him. But I wish they would have had that before. They should have built that up a little more before. They just kind of were friends. And they showed them hanging out together and everything, but it didn't feel like they were really good friends or like he loved them.
Yeah, and I think the only way that they could get like past that like as an excuse is because like throughout the whole movie, they've kind of like are like, yeah, he's kind of emotionless, like Robert De Niro's character. Like he doesn't like ever like no one can really read like how he's feeling about anything.
I think,
but that's such an easy cop out too. Like,
he's just doing his duty. Cause remember, he's talking about how when he was a soldier, he would just follow orders. He wasn't really thinking. He was just doing. He just had to do what he had to do, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then he also echoes that like this is like just being like in the army again. Like, just follow orders, do what they tell you to do, and just finish it up. And yeah, I mean, like I feel like I'm like shitting on the movie a lot, but I did we
all are.
But I did like a good amount of it. It's just that there was so much in it that I feel like wasn't necessary, and it was just more of like world building. But like this whole world that we're supposed to like care about and stuff wasn't like something I felt like we needed to care about.
I think the thing is also because these people are real people in real life, right? And we don't know. Did you know any about these people, these characters?
Yeah, like
none of us knew about them. Like
yeah.
So I was having a conversation with my dad, and he knew these people. Like for him, it makes more sense. Like he's watching these scenes, and it's like, oh, that's this guy. I know this guy from when I was younger. And when we were watching these scenes, like, wait, who is this guy? Like and I felt like as we were watching the movie, there was a lot of characters where we didn't really understand like who they were, how big they were, like for example, Joe Pesci or Pesci's like character. Like he's supposed to be like the main mafia guy, right?
He's like in the middle. He's not the guy that's in charge, but he's intertwined with everything.
I couldn't tell.
They kind of explained
that.
Are you
sure he wasn't?
Like everything goes through him. Everything goes through him.
So who's his boss?
The guy that
the guy in the beginning in the restaurant
with the glasses.
And I didn't like that he didn't come out more. Like I figured they would have more of his character too.
Because Robert De Niro wasn't just like intertwined with that guy. He was also intertwined with Jimmy. Like he was working for a lot of people. He was branching out with a lot of people. So that's why I think that's why they highlighted that character.
Russell.
Yeah, Russell. Because he was the middle. He was involved with everything. He knew everything about everything. So that's why they put him there. So I thought that was smart.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's like why. Like, I mean, they marketed like it as like these actors finally being in a movie again together. Like it's a big deal type of thing. So maybe like. Obviously these people are from older movies that they've done together, so maybe they're like, oh, this is more for an older audience. But like I feel like if you're gonna make a movie that's supposed to be like award winning and whatever, because that's obviously what like Martin Scorsese always like has like as a goal, I feel like. So I feel like if you're gonna do that, you shouldn't just target it to a specific audience. Like you're supposed to target it to like be like
everyone,
not everyone, but like something that like not everyone's like gonna know all of these things. So if you're gonna like make it about these characters, you have to make us like care, I guess, even though they're all pretty much bad people. And I think that's also like why it doesn't resonate too much either, because they are pretty much all bad people. Like no one in the movie really does anything good.
I did like seeing Robert De Niro play a hitman though. That was cool.
Yeah, like
the scene where he goes into the restaurant,
the diner.
That scene was really good. There's a lot of good scenes, and it's taking out people. I think that was probably my favorite part about the whole movie, was anytime he was actually
on like
making
a hit.
Almost. That was good.
But the thing is, that was not most.
It wasn't a lot.
That was
like probably a total of 30 minutes.
Yeah. It wasn't a lot.
It was mostly.
It's a lot of sitting down and talking. And
not only that, I feel like the ending also dragged the most.
Oh my god!
The last 40 minutes was already past his time. Like everyone was
dead already. Yeah, he was already old.
It was kind of sad. Like for him getting old, it felt like I was watching Bucket List or something.
Yeah, like it really felt pointless, because like what do we care that he's like this old decrepit man that can barely move? Like like everyone's dead. Like no one in his family cares about him, obviously. Like he's just in this home all by himself.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that add to the story for us? Like, you know, like I feel like it was just kind of a waste of time, especially because I thought the movie was going to end like right after he had that phone call with his wife.
Yeah.
Like I legit thought the movie was over.
Just 30 minutes.
And and then I paused it and there was like 30 minutes left, and I was like, you're kidding me. Like what else what do they have to tell us? Like we know that like he talks to somebody because that's how the movie starts off, and then like what else do we need to know from this?
Was he talking to someone? Was he talking to the priest? Is that what it was?
It could have been the priest, or it could have been that guy that he was with, like his guy that was driving him around and stuff like that.
I thought he was just talking to us. I thought I didn't think he was talking to anyone.
Yeah,
they didn't show who he was talking to either.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah,
Scorsese always has a narrator. It's funny, when the movie started, I told Leslie that it's probably gonna have a narrator. That's like one of his signature Scorsese things.
Well, I feel like in his movies too, though, there's always this like criminal. I'm comparing to like Wolf of Wall Street at least, and they're like successful in the first half and maybe almost throughout the whole movie, but then at the end, like it's almost always turns out for them. Yeah,
for sure.
So
Goodfellas, same thing.
I've never seen
the Casino.
Yeah. So it's always these criminals like trying to be like the shit, and they lose it all.
They become the shit, and then they lose it all.
Yeah. So maybe that's kind of the message, like. Yeah. But there was too much like. all right, he fucked up. Like we know
Yeah.
nothing good gonna happen after.
Yeah,
like, all right.
yeah. I don't know.
All right, let's rate it.
Yeah.
This is a pretty easy one for me
To rate?
To rate, yeah.
So
It's not gonna be
I
hard.
liked a lot of the acting in it, but I didn't like the story too much. And I felt like it dragged way too much in so many of the parts. Like honestly, I feel like they could have cut out a good hour from the movie,
For sure.
and we wouldn't have lost anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Nothing important.
yeah. I just because of that, like honestly, I want to give it like a 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm giving it. 6.5.
I was gonna give it a 5, but not
Oh my God.
not real bad. I was gonna give it a 5, dude. I fell asleep. Dude, I fell
I was
asleep.
dozing off.
I know Alex dozed
I
off.
dozed off. I was like,
Um,
oh. I was
And
trying
then
to wake
so
up.
that didn't help. I mean, I
Yeah.
couldn't. I had to
It's hard.
try to watch this movie.
Oh,
I had to try to watch the movie. I'm gonna stick with that solid 5. You know,
okay.
like
Yeah.
it's by far like the hardest movie to watch since from all the movies we've seen.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, people have to watch this.
And
in
if it's hard
pieces,
to
man.
watch, like it doesn't deserve more than a 5. I'm sorry, like
Yeah, I
hard to
feel like
watch.
this could have been like a good show, maybe.
Mhm.
You know, like
a show.
yeah, like
Extend-
like
Extend it.
like an anthology series type thing where it's just this one-off like season about like this Jimmy Hoffa
Yeah.
guy and like all the people involved.
Maybe like a short series,
Yeah,
like
like-
Chernobyl or something.
Yeah, like it really didn't have. I don't know, like it didn't feel like it was like a necessary like full-on movie for me.
I just think we're not.
I
in
yeah,
that
I
age
guess
range.
maybe we didn't have like any like tie to these
Any
characters or
background
like yeah, like
information.
but
we'll see.
whatever.
All right, what's
yeah.
out? What's out in theaters right now? What's coming up?
I don't know,
Dude,
man.
Star
like
Wars.
that. That was disappointing for me.
Yeah, these.
Like-
why do we pick 2-3 hour long movies?
Yeah.
Well, I picked Irishman, and then
I
I don't know.
know.
You
Well, I
picked
mean,
that,
like
though.
Godfather was kind of. I
Yeah,
mean, like they're
Godfather was okay.
similar. Like, I liked the Godfather, but it was long.
Okay, let's.
But if you think about it, we were able to watch both things at home though.
Yeah, that was.
So if you go to the theaters, you have to go before. You have to come back. Like you have to watch the trailers.
3 hours
We live
anyway.
Like you'll
Yeah.
probably
5
be there
minutes from
3
a theater,
hours
by the way.
anyways.
So, I don't know. I guess so.
what comes out this week?
Nothing great. I think.
Does Jumanji come out
I
this
think
week?
we're gonna have to do Frozen 2, guys. We're gonna have to review Frozen 2.
Does Jumanji come out this
Guys,
week? Though?
It's no. Or if we do Jumanji, we gotta do Jumanji 1 because I
Yeah,
haven't seen Jumanji 1.
What? You haven't?
No,
Me
I
I
neither.
haven't.
love Jumanji.
Yeah, I heard it
Oh.
was really good and I wanted to watch it, but we never went to go see it.
My parents.
Well,
we never saw it.
wait. Like Jumanji. Like,
No, not the original.
No,
The
not the
one with the
original.
rock.
We've
Of
seen the
course,
original.
of
Oh,
course.
okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
dude.
I liked
Jesus
the
Christ.
most recent Jumanji too, but
Jumanji Next Level, December 13th.
that's this week.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's do Jumanji 1 and 2 then.
I'm down with it.
I'm up for it.
Yeah,
Complete different-
Oscar approves.
We're looking at Oscar, by the way.
No, we're waiting
He's-
for his
he's
approval.
here.
Yeah, let's do Jumanji 1 and 2. That's good. Those are good choices.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So we'll be back next week with those 2 movies. Also, I am hosting a charity event. If you want to go ahead and donate to that, it'll be in the description. If you want to go ahead and follow that link, it's to help out some local children in need for Christmas. So if you guys are willing to donate even just $1, it'll help out.
Oh, sorry. I looked at the ESPN score.
Oh my god! I was like, damn, you really hate charity that
Sorry, I
much.
You know, but you know, what? I barely glanced at it, so no one tell me like.
I
the
don't know.
Lakers
I
score.
don't know what happened in the Lakers
Okay,
game.
okay.
But yeah, okay.
I even happened.
We'll be back next week. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.